What a fun weekend this has been here in the Big Country. Our busy Saturday culminates tonight at Moody Coliseum in Abilene, Texas for ESPN College Basketball. Good non-conference matchup, the Pepperdine Waves and the Abilene Christian Wildcats. Good evening, everybody. Welcome courtside to Moody Coliseum. Zach Carlisle and Owen Simpson, glad to have you with us. Well, the Pepperdine Waves come all the way from Malibu, California, from the West Coast Conference. Take on the Abilene Christian Wildcats, the defending Southland Tournament champions. Good matchup here tonight.
It's a great opportunity for both these teams. For Pepperdine, it's the only road game for them outside the state of California until January of next year. Meanwhile, for the Wildcats, it's an ongoing, tough non-conference schedule in the month of November.
How about some impact players tonight? It's a good one. Clay Gaiman for Abilene Christian, having a good season.
Clay Gaiman came off a career high in points, 21 points, 8 for 9 shooting in last Sunday's loss to Drexel. He'll be someone to watch out for the Wildcats.
Pepperdine, Colby Ross, the junior, he's going to be the all-time leading scorer and assist man for Pepperdine when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and he hasn't exactly found his stride shooting the ball yet this season, averaging about 35% from the field, but he has been great passing the ball, averaging 9 assists a game so far.
But the series history for Pepperdine, they lead the series 2-1. This is the 4th meeting they played last year in Malibu, California. And they met in 1984. ACU was winners 93-89 over Pepperdine 35 years ago. So Abilene Christian and Pepperdine get ready to go here tonight as they do the prayer and the national anthem here inside Moody Coliseum. Should be a fun game, no doubt about that. So ACU 1-1 on the season, and Pepperdine comes in at 2-1 on the young season. Pepperdine winners Tuesday. I like this matchup. It's two good teams. It's a Pepperdine team that got the win Tuesday, and Abilene Christian gets a tough game Sunday at Drexel, where they fall at the hands in overtime 86-83, but it's a good matchup today.
Yeah, it's going to be a matchup really that's going to be a big factor inside the paint. The Wildcats came off a tough time inside the paint against Drexel last Sunday. That's going to be something to really watch out for in this one. Pepperdine has been a pretty good rebounding team so far, so that'll be one key thing to watch out for in this matchup.
They're doing the national anthem here in Moody Coliseum. Brand new video board as it looks really, really good here on camera. They wrap up the national anthem. Pepperdine making that long trip from Malibu. Should be a fun game we've been looking forward to. We had football earlier today on ESPN Plus. Tonight here on ESPN3 to wrap up our day. So national anthem wraps up. Now they're going to do the starting lineups for both of these teams. Have that live for you here tonight here on ESPN, and they're going to announce both starting lineups. I tell you what, Pepperdine is an athletic bunch from that West Coast Conference, and they have a team that really kind of took down ACU pretty convincingly last year at Malibu. They might be even deeper this season. It's a really talented roster for Pepperdine.
Yeah, it really is. And for the opposite side, for the Wildcats, someone really also to be watching out for who didn't perform really well last time against Pepperdine was Peyton Ricks, the lone senior in the starting lineup for the Wildcats. Peyton Ricks 0 for 6. Didn't score a single point last year. He's going to be someone to watch out for and a factor as well for the Wildcats in this one.
Colby Ross, a junior starter out of Aurora, Colorado. Johnny Smith, a junior from Oakland, California. Cameron Edwards and Kessler Edwards. Watch out for the Edwards brothers. They are spectacular. Skylar Chavez as well. Now they get ready for the Abilene Christian starters. This home game for ACU. Their second home game defeated Arlington Baptist on November the 5th. Fell at Drexel last Sunday. They are showing a big video board, brand new video board here in Abilene as they get that intro video going. very fired up crowd here tonight. Expecting a good crowd on hand in Moody Coliseum. Wildcats and Waves. ACU, this is a big test just to see where they're at in the young season.
It really is, especially as we know, we mentioned last Sunday their first loss, only played 2 games so far. This is a really beginning of a long stretch in non-conference play. They play UNLV later next week. They go on the road a lot in November. It's going to be a tough schedule, and it starts here at home for the Wildcats.
Well, Abilene Christian, Damian Daniels, who is a big-time sophomore guard. I tell you, they're going to wear their old school jerseys today. Abilene Christian wearing the uniforms that they wore back in 1984 when they beat Pepperdine as a Division II school. It's been a long time, and they said it's as packed as Moody's ever been when they beat Division I's Pepperdine back then. Damian Daniels out of Kansas City stands at all of 5'7". Peyton Ricks, the 6'2" guard. Boy, I tell you, he is a good shooter, and he can get very deadly when he wants to.
And especially when he gets hot, the whole team gets hot. He really is a driving force for this team as far as momentum comes on offense. He had a big game also defensively against Drexel with 3 steals in that loss on Sunday. And this whole team's going to be holding on to him.
Trey Lennox, a senior out of Hot Springs, Arkansas, getting the nod. There's Joe Pleasant, the sophomore. He came on strong as a freshman a season ago. And then how about the big fella inside, the 7-footer, Colton Cole, out of San Angelo, Texas. Usually the home team wears the white, but the home team's going to wear the purple in tonight's game. ACU was undefeated going into that game at Pepperdine. The Waves took it to them. ACU wants to return the favor. We'll find out. This is going to be a fun early test to see where these teams are at. Joe Golding, the head coach of ACU. Lorenzo Romar at Pepperdine. What are you looking for early on in this matchup?
We're looking to see who's going to control the paint, who's going to be the physical force inside. Now, they do have the size 7 foot for the Wildcats at Colton Cole, but he's gotten into foul trouble early, and that's been a big problem for them. When they get into foul trouble, they have to downsize, and that really creates a problem in the rebound margin. That's something, whoever controls the rebound margin in the first half, I'd like to see has the lead at the half as well.
Kessler Edwards and Colton Cole will jump. So glad you're with us tonight on ESPN. Big non-conference matchup. Pepperdine wins the tip. Off we go from Abilene, Texas. Colby Ross, one of the best assist men in college basketball. Loves to dish it to his teammates. There's Keith Smith. Cameron Edwards and Kessler Edwards, 2 outstanding scorers. Offensive board. And Cameron Edwards misses the putback.
And Daniels is going to have himself a night covering Ross. He's undersized, and he's frankly just too small to be able to take on Ross. It's going to be tough for him to battle that out. We'll see how the rest of the game goes against him.
Trey Lennox getting his first start of the young season. Now Daniels, a guy who really can create a lot of good shots. There's Joe Pleasant. It's a long 2. And the Wildcats with the first points of the game.
And who says the big man can't make a step-back shot? Beautiful shot there from Pleasant to get things going.
Defensive foul on Damian Daniels. First foul of the game. You're right, that's a handful with the speed and the ball handling ability of Ross. A ton of talent in that point guard position for Pepperdine. They got the switch with Peyton Ricks on it now. Kessler Edwards to the paint with an and one. Sophomore out of Rancho Cucamonga, California, scored a career high Tuesday night at Cal State Northridge, 22 points.
And I'm sure those 2 points will just be the beginning of more for tonight. So far averaging 19 points per game in 3 games this season.
Gives Pepperdine the early lead. Peyton Ricks, first shot, deadly three-point shooter. A long rebound to Daniels. Pleasant, the guy who doesn't take a lot of long jump shots. There's Cole from the baseline. Pleasant's worked hard so far. Missed a couple inside. Keith Smith with a board. Here's the Pepperdine starting 5. Ross and Smith, outstanding guards. There's the Edwards brothers. Skylar Chavez, he's going to have some interesting matchups in the paint with Golden Cole. And it's Chavez for 3. Peyton Ricks, last time these two teams met, he was shut out in Malibu a year ago. They want to get him going tonight for sure. Just 5 to shoot for Abilene Christian. Daniels gonna have to do it himself, and that was well defensed. I don't think he got a shot off. That's a shot clock violation. Well done defensively by Pepperdine.
Yeah, great defense there from Pepperdine to start off, setting the tone defensively for your team. That's going to be crucial going into the rest of the game. Good job defensively.
Pepperdine, a team that has given up some points. 87, 73, 82. They're averaging 79 points defensively. Not where they want to be yet. ACU, chance to grab the lead. Low scoring so far. Daniels 3, no good. Got the pass from Hayden Howell, who checked into the game during the last dead ball. Edwards, tough take with a right hand. Boy, he's athletic. That's the older brother of the two, Cameron Edwards, inside.
So Edwards 5, Abilene Christian 2 in this one. Is that right, Zach? I think that's going to be the story for this one.
Can you slow down that scoring strength of the Edwards brothers? They took off. Both had 22 in the win against Cal State Northridge Tuesday night. Here's Joe Pleasant once again. Joe Golding, the head coach ACU, talks about Joe Pleasant as a guy who has grown so much in just an offseason from his freshman to his sophomore.
And he looks great so far in this one. He's not afraid to take it in and drive inside, force the contact. And he's been rewarded now with 2 free throw shots.
Pleasant, a sophomore, to Overland Park, Kansas. Subs check in. Abilene Christian, Corian Mason, and Reggie Miller into the game. And those are the first 2 makes at the free throw line of the young season for Joe Pleasant. He's now 2 of 4. We're going to try to hedge Colby Ross a little bit. Now Chavez, this ball's loose, and it's a takeaway. Chance to run. Reggie Miller, no, got behind the D but couldn't finish. We can see both of these teams trying to run. That pass is picked. 2 straight turnovers for Pepperdine.
And that first turnover, the Wildcats have gone to an extended 2-3. And I think that's caught the Waves off guard. Great defense from the Wildcats.
Orion Simmons, a JUCO transfer, Ranger College, native of Oklahoma City. Hayden Howell, he's had a slow start to the young season. Draws a foul on the inside, and he's going to have free throws when we come back. Early moments just getting started. Pepperdine and ACU, a great non-conference matchup.
The Southland Conference, 13 member institutions, over 4,200 student athletes, achieving success in the classroom while excelling in 19 NCAA Division I sports and making a difference through serving others and giving back to the community. Determination, hard work, commitment, excellence, and collaboration. Together, we are
a back and forth defensive start so far. Pepperdine with the early lead by just a point, but these defenses are off to a good start.
They really have, and both of these teams are really good defensively going into this matchup. Opponent field goal percentage, Abilene Christian holding their opponents to 38% defensively, and that's been really the show so far in this one.
Hayden Howell, who was injured all of last season, took a medical red shirt. He is at the line for a pair of free throws. He was fouled prior to the break. There's a pair of fouls on both sides. The early moments here of this first half. Hayden Howell, the senior out of Midwest City, Oklahoma. Limited minutes so far, played just 3 minutes Sunday at Drexel. They're kind of working him back into the lineup. It's easier said than done to come off of a season-long injury to come back for your redshirt senior year.
It really is, and it's going to take time. This is going to be a growing process for him, and just really getting back into the team, getting that chemistry back after that injury season.
1 of 2. The charity stripe, this game tied at 5 in the young moments. Smith nearly had it taken away by Ricks. Chavez looking for somewhere to go, nearly a 5-second call. It's a small lineup for Abilene Christian. Ross for 3. First attempt from distance for Colby Ross. His points may not have been there so far, but if he gets his scoring going, he is almost impossible to stop.
Yeah, it becomes a huge threat, especially with his passing ability. That's been his strength this season. Sooner or later, that shot's going to start falling.
Pleasant picked up the dribble. Wow, what a great pass and great movement off the ball. Corian Mason with a layup.
Beautiful awareness there from the big man himself. That's such a rare breed to have the passing ability at the center position. Well done.
Ross is bumped at the top by Hayden Howell, who's trying to come over and hedge.
A great cut there by Mason into the paint and opening up the layup. And the Wildcats have their lead at 7-5.
Darrell Polk Jr. into the contest. The sophomore, number 2 out of Long Beach, California. Edwards underneath, bodying up Howell. Can't win the one-on-one matchup. Reggie Miller, they want him to be the backup point guard this year. Damian Daniels. Ball tipped off of Howell. Well played defensively by Skylar Chavez. Howell guards Edwards off the ball. That could be the matchup in the post for the next few minutes. Here it is. Edwards wins that one off the window.
A strong take inside the paint. That's what Pepperdine is going to be looking for early in this game, showing the control inside the paint. Well done there.
Ricks fakes. Inside, here's Clay Game, and how did he get that one to go? Tough shot. Ricks defensively, 2-on-1 chance. Gaiman, a jump stop. Couldn't finish. Ricks, corner 3. Another offensive chance for ACU. 4th offensive rebound of the half for Abilene Christian. Corian Mason foul.
And that's what's impressed me so far from this Wildcat offense. They are not afraid to take it inside the paint. And the physicality is continuing to grow. Another trip to the line. That's what the Wildcats are going to need to stay in this one.
ACU's 3 of 4 as a team so far. The charity stripe. Mason, a junior transfer. Transfer out of Ranger College, where they made the run all the way to the NJCAA National Championship game. This guy is a winner. Comes to Abilene Christian. First-year Wildcat. You notice the ACC on the side of the shorts for Abilene Christian. That was back when they were called Abilene Christian College. Ball tapped out of bounds to Pepperdine. Seven-footer Colton Cole into the game. And so Pepperdine counters with the 6'9", Victor Ohia Obiha. Both wearing number 34. Ross backing down, no good inside.
Good defense from Daniels, outsized, outmatched. No worry whatsoever, great defense. And another stop.
Pepperdine
Christian.
Pepperdine 3 of their first 9 from the floor. There's the lob. Trying to throw the touchdown pass to the big fella, and he's fouled. Keith Smith fouled, is the culprit for Pepperdine. Colton Cole to the line. Cole, the junior out of San Angelo, Texas, scored 21 in the season opener. That was a career high. Good free throw shooter.
Yeah, he
I
hasn't,
say that like I'm surprised.
he hasn't been there a whole lot despite his position. Only 3 for 4 in attempts going into this game, but nails 2. Well done by the big man.
Love to know how many good free throw shooters are at 7 feet tall. Ross back door. Corner 3, Keith Smith. And Pepperdine is 0 of 3 to start the night from distance.
And they've had some great ball movement on offense, great kicking over into the corner. Shot just hasn't fallen yet, but sooner or later, it will.
Now Daniels going one-on-one with Darryl Polk Jr. Mason had it stripped. This is a loose ball. Still loose. Daniels got it back. The ball has been kicked and punched and thrown and pinballed. A little chaotic. And now a foul inside. They'll sort it all out. It's been a back and forth start. 11-7, ACU. Well, over the last few days, this place has been busy at Abilene Christian. They're putting the video board up. And boy, did this crew do such a good job. They were talking about it and trying to get this place even better in Moody Coliseum. job well done. This place looks phenomenal.
No, yeah, it looks great. It's a nice little addition to Moody Coliseum. Nice scoreboard, video scoreboard. Brings us a new atmosphere into any sporting arena.
Meanwhile, both of these teams are a combined 0 of 6 from the three-point line. Pepperdine is just 3 of 10 from the floor. ACU 3 of 11. The defense is doing a good job. Team's missing some shots. Here's a speed disadvantage for Abilene Christian. Ross, and now they lob it in. How about the defense from Abilene Christian? Gaiman gets the steal.
And still holding on that extended 3-2. And it's just really swarming anyone with the ball. Just phenomenal defense again from the Wildcats.
Makai Morris, number 12, into the contest as well. And this is a push inside on Pepperdine. Kessler Edwards, the younger of the two brothers. He's going to leave the game for Cameron Edwards.
That's a big foul. Foul number 2 early in this game. This is the point in time now where the Wildcats really are able to respond offensive and finally get some shots going for them. Shooting only now at 27% from the field.
4 of the 5 starters back on the floor for ACU. Lennox goes into Gaiman, looks for the wraparound. Ross running free. One of the best assist man in college basketball. Finds his teammate who's fouled. It's Edwards going to the line. Transition, I think, is going to be huge tonight. We've seen both of these teams try and get up and run, but there's been a lot of turnovers in transition so far.
It's been really sloppy so far. Not really sure if it's just the atmosphere. It is a little crowded here in Moody Coliseum, getting a little louder. But it's definitely, just got to calm yourself down, get some composure going for both these teams. It's sloppy, the shots aren't falling, but in time, that will change.
9 turnovers combined between the schools so far. Cameron Edwards, an 80% foul shooter, and there was a whistle prior to the free throw. Was there a lane violation?
I think it might be an inadvertent whistle.
So Edwards looks like he's going to get another opportunity to make the free throw. Joe Pleasant checks in for ACU. I think it was just an inadvertent whistle. And Edwards takes advantage. That ends a 3-minute scoring drought for Pepperdine to make it a 3-point game. We've seen a lot of Joe Pleasant so far. He's got the ball in his hands. Looking for Cole. He just fights incredibly hard, and the big fella scores inside.
Great job by Pleasant to lob it up to him a little. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get it, to be able to snag it there, but a nice reverse layup and a nice score from the Wildcats.
Nearly a steal from Daniels, the smallest guy on the floor at 5'7", and a backdoor cut, miscommunication between Keith Smith and Darrell Polk Jr.
Let's take a look at that again. The lob up from Pleasant to Cole.
He tipped it to himself?
Well, not sure what I don't know if he was trying to go for a rebound to add to his stat sheet or what, but a score nonetheless.
ACU averaging 87 points per game. That's 3rd so far in a young season in the Southland Conference. Peyton Ricks, the Daniels in the corner. 5 starters for ACU on the floor. Cole, if he gets that move going, I don't know how you stop him inside, and Daniels fouls Ross in the backcourt. Here comes Reggie Miller for ACU. And back in Skylar Chavez for the Waves. It's a Pepperdine team that finished 2 games under 500 last year at 16 and 18. But they made a run in the conference tournament all the way to the semifinal against Gonzaga. Fell to the Bulldogs West Coast Conference tournament. You got to win 5 times in that conference to win the conference tournament. It's a long postseason. Obioha missing inside. Ricks with a speed advantage, and he draws a foul on Chavez. And so far, this officiating crew not letting those hand checks go. They're calling all of that stuff so far.
Yeah, and it's been a physical game nonetheless. One thing that surprised me in this game, both these teams have been surprisingly sloppy, turning the ball over. Going into this game, Abilene Christian only averaging 8 turnovers a game, and Pepperdine 11. Well, they're well on their way to exceed that.
Ricks is fouled in the corner by Skylar Chavez, and he's going to shoot 3 free throws. Peyton Ricks averaging almost 19 per game through 2. And boy, was he big in the loss at Drexel last Sunday.
Yeah, 29 points, 10 for 20 shooting in that matchup. And this is now going to be his 6th, 7th, and 8th free throw attempts. So he's shown he doesn't typically get fouled too much while shooting the ball, but a good free throw shooter when he goes to the charity stripe.
Checking in for the first time, number 3, Arion Simmons. A 6'5", 264-pound freshman out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Ricks, smooth at the line. Abilene Christian's doubled up Pepperdine so far. I don't know if I saw that coming through the game's first 11 minutes.
It's been all about defense for Abilene Christian. For both these teams, it really has. But the big factor so far is Pepperdine has turned the ball over time and time again, as we just saw there.
Smith, the lob was too high for Chavez. Simmons gonna take a 3. He's got the first triple for either side tonight.
And that's only his 2nd attempt so far this season. It's first make, and that's a big momentum swing there for the Wildcats.
Chavez looking, and his pass is taken away. Boy, it's all Wildcats right now. Reggie Miller, a little out of control, and Simmons tried to save it, and he's out of bounds.
And take a look back at this. Peyton Ricks dishes it up to the top, and no hesitation whatsoever. Beautiful shot there from Simmons.
Didn't know Simmons had it in him, the
Not
freshman.
sure either.
Hitting at the top of the key. Edwards back out there, so is big number 50, Jackson Stormo, the sophomore out of Santa Barbara, California. Him and Simmons, big bodies in the paint, and it's a hedge foul on Arion Simmons for ACU. All Wildcats right now, a 12-1 run and an 11-point lead. Well, it's been an 8-0 run and a 12-1 run for Abilene Christian, and the Wildcats have an 11-point lead over Pepperdine. It's been a good start for the home team.
It really has. They've been able to shoot the ball really well. 5 for 16 from the field. That's not exactly a winning performance, but their defense is really what's paid off so far, forcing 8 turnovers. For Pepperdine, a team that averages 11 a game, doing a great job defensively.
Both teams are going to be in the bonus the rest of the half. 1-1 for Colby Ross, who was fouled on the other end of the floor prior to the break. He'll get another. So Ross, a junior out of Aurora, Colorado. At his current pace, he is on pace to become Pepperdine's all-time leader in total career points and total career assists next season. 1,121 points, 430 assists coming in to tonight. Reggie Miller draws a crowd and draws a foul. Oh, and Ross hit the deck hard, and he is in some pain down on the floor. You never want to see that.
I'm not sure if he fell down awkwardly on his back, but he took a hard hit there, none to say the least. He might take the foul on that, but I think he had the harder contact taken to him. But then again, this is a continuing thing that we see from Abilene Christian, their ability to drive in and draw the foul. Yet another trip to the free throw line for them. This will be 12 and 13 on free throw attempts.
Here's Miller, the junior out of Houston and a transfer out of Seward County Community College. He was a region champion. Obviously a good basketball name. I had to be I don't know how you go through a game without talking about a guy named Reggie Miller. And they're not talking about what a quality basketball name it is, but Abilene Christian. Off to this good start. And this has been the end of the floor that's been the challenge for Pepperdine. So they go inside to Jackson Stormo, back out Ross for 3. First triple of the game for Pepperdine, and they needed it.
And the Wildcats switched back to man defense there, and it created a little bit of opportunity for the Waves with the pick and roll and just creating screens for the offense to spread the ball out. Great job there for Pepperdine.
Simmons wants his second, and it almost bounced in.
Almost got that shooter's touch there.
What do they call that? Moody Magic or Moody something? I don't know. Tipped around and out of bounds, and it's a turnover.
Take a look back at it again. Kicked inside, forces it back out. Peyton Ricks caught behind, in a beautiful three-pointer for Pepperdine to get back on track offensively.
Checking in for Abilene Christian is sophomore Tobias Cameron out of Gold Coast, Australia. Joe Pleasant back out on the floor as well. A lot of the second unit for Abilene Christian. 4 of the 5 starters for Pepperdine. Howell lost it. Now it's a scramble, and the arrow sticks with Abilene Christian.
And what the Waves really wanted to do going into this game was really silent Peyton Ricks after the performance he had last Sunday with 29 points. And they've done so far. Peyton Ricks 0 for 2, only points coming from the free throw line after being fouled at the three-point line in the right corner earlier in this game. But defensively, he has been a nightmare. 4 steals already in this first half.
The official talking to Pepperdine head coach Lorenzo Romar. This is his second stint with Pepperdine. He was the head coach from 1996 to 1999 with the Waves. Then left, went to St. Louis University. Then was the head coach of the Washington Huskies for 15 seasons. And now back with Pepperdine for the second time as the ball's tapped out of bounds. More like kicked out of bounds by Chavez. And on a kicked ball, the shot clock needs to get reset. Oh, or did they take a second off? It's
Not
actually
sure.
a 10.
And that's what they're
I
blowing the whistle
thought they
for. Yep.
should have put it. Usually the reset's 20, not 10. So they need to add seconds back on. They will. 17 on the shot clock. Just 5 to shoot for Abilene Christian. Cameron picked off. Good D by Pepperdine. Ross looking Edwards. Boy, that was a really tough shot. Now it's a foul inside. A late whistle, and they get the foul on Hayden Howell for sliding to try to stop Edwards, much to the dislike of this Moody Coliseum crowd.
And looking back on Pepperdine defensively, Ross came out from blindside to get that steal. Great job to see where that ball was heading, and now an opportunity to get a couple points, or now 1 point at the free throw line.
Kessler Edwards, a 70% free throw shooter, misses both. And it's a foul on Abilene Christian. And it's on Tobias Cameron after the miss, so now it's a 1-and-1 for Edwards. He hits the second. Oh no, they're just going to redo that free throw, and he gets it to go. That's the second time that Pepperdine's had 2 chances at 1 free throw, and they've made both of them.
And they're 5 for 7 as a team in this one at the free throw line. Meanwhile, Wildcats 9 for 13, just getting there a lot more frequently, and that's what's gotten them the lead so far.
Howell, long 2. Eight defensive rebounds for Pepperdine. Abilene Christian does have 6 offensive rebounds, and that is a step back 3 from Colby Ross. That's as smooth as it gets.
Beautiful shot from Ross. Now up to 8 points in this one, 2 for 4 shooting, and his second triple in the first half.
Miller in the corner, thought about a 3. Tobias Cameron launches, and now Edwards wants to run. A team that loves to get up and down the floor at lightning speed. Ross, tough shot, no good.
Both these teams just struggling to shoot the ball. Abilene Christian 5 for 19 at 26%. Meanwhile, Pepperdine not much better, 5 for 14, 36% from the field.
Joe Pleasant traveled inside.
Take a look back at this shot. My goodness, a beautiful triple from Ross. Stepped right into it. And he's been the leader offensively for Pepperdine. 8 points, 2 for 5 shooting.
Ross had 15 in the Pepperdine win over ACU last year. Kessler Edwards scored 19 points in that contest. And now Cameron Edwards inside. Powerful move from the big fella, 6'6", 230 pounds.
And he doesn't care about being outsized by a whole 6 inches by Colton Call, just takes it in like nobody's business. And another turnover for this Wildcat offense.
Back-to-back travel calls on Abilene Christian. How about this move from Edwards?
Good kick inside, 1 dribble, box step, fundamental offense inside the paint.
The guys that have that control to go in with the body and then still keep it in one hand. Now Edwards for 3. And another foul. We've had a million whistles in this first half. Fouls on Peyton Ricks. And another 1-and-1 upcoming for the Waves. This is Kessler Edwards. He's the taller of the 2 brothers. Stands at 6'8", with Cameron Edwards at 6'6", but he's the younger of the 2 brothers. Kessler, a sophomore out of Rancho Cucamonga, California.
And a good
and the
free throw
Waves
shooter
have
too.
made a run to take the lead. Mason inside, and that draws a foul.
That's just been the story of the game so far, Zach. It's a physical game inside the paint. Now both teams with 9 fouls in this one. We still got 4 minutes left in the first half. My goodness, we're going to be here a while.
How about a 13-1 run for Pepperdine over the last 4 minutes? And an 11-0 run in the last 3.5. ACU trying to stop the bleeding, and they will. At the foul line, Corian Mason, left-handed shooter out of Oklahoma City. We talked about it. Pepperdine has a lot of players back, and maybe even more depth than they had last year. Abilene Christian, a very new team from what they had from that NCAA tournament run a year ago.
Yeah, and there's just going to be some stretches of good play and bad play as we see a scramble here. My goodness. And that
ball nearly thrown out of bounds. Somehow Edwards comes up with it and scores. How in the world did Pepperdine get points out of that?
It's going to be about who wants it more, Zach.
Wow.
That's going to be the story of the game. An exciting one so far.
A double team, more bodies on the floor. Oh my goodness. A lot of guys have been tackled and thrown around. Physical battle. They are having fun in Moody Coliseum tonight. A packed house on hand for this good matchup. Pepperdine coming in at 2-1. And it was a loss at California at the Golden Bears out of the Pac-12. But they hung with Cal at a really good game in Berkeley before beating UC Irvine and then beating Cal State Northridge on Tuesday. Inside move, Ross kicks out. 3 up and in. Skylar Chavez with a big one. Now Pepperdine's got 3 of them from distance in the first half.
That's what we talked about earlier in this game, the drive and kick from Pepperdine. They showed off there, and a nice triple.
Abilene Christian's had the turnover bug, and that continues. And another 3 from Chavez, misses everything. Nine turnovers in the first half for the Wildcats. Miller, long 3. Left it short.
The Wildcats haven't had a field goal in almost 7 minutes of play. And that's what put them in the deficit they're in now.
That's a carry on Ross. Pepperdine up to 42% shooting. They got off to a really slow start. 3 for their first 11.
It's now been a little bit of reversal of those roles. But I spoke too soon. The Wildcats finally get that bucket, the long-awaited bucket they've needed. And hopefully that creates a chain effect for them in this one.
Mason, back-to-back points. Ross not afraid. Long rebound, tapped around, kicked around. Pepperdine basketball all the way at the other end of the floor. And now the officials want to talk to the scorer's table. So it's Pepperdine ball and a fresh shot clock. Under 2 minutes till the half. Entertaining first half in Abilene. Corner three, Darryl Polk Jr. connects, and Pepperdine starting to feel it from the outside.
And their ball movement has just been exquisite throughout this one. Kicking it side to side, not being afraid to take the extra pass. That's the mentality you want to win the basketball game here in this one.
Golden Cole catch and a foul inside. Abilene Christian's really been trying to make an effort of getting it into the paint on each possession. Sometimes it's turned into some turnovers, but they love to get it in 34's hand every time.
And why wouldn't you? He's the 7-foot guy. He's the biggest guy on the court. That's what you want to do. You want to take it inside, force your way in, and that way it creates a little bit of extra space in the perimeter. Those shots are going to start falling. They haven't been falling yet for ACU. 1 for 7 beyond the perimeter so far in this one.
Colton Cole played in 30 games for Abilene Christian a season ago. Making 4 starts a year ago as well for Abilene Christian. Pepperdine with a 3-point lead and the ball and a near turnover. 75 seconds till the half. Victor Ohia Obiha. And now the fadeaway, good, nice, smooth jump shot. Skylar Chavez, he can stroke it. At 6'5".
And that's now 5 points for Chavez, 2 for 5 shooting. He's starting to get on a roll here.
Ricks, double team, blocked away, Pepperdine ball. Big time play defensively from the Waves. Peyton Ricks is going to draw a crowd when he gets the basketball. The outstanding scorer for Abilene Christian.
And that's just not a wise decision by the senior. They're taking it in and surprisingly not kicking it out with 2 bigger defenders right next to him. And now Pepperdine has an opportunity to extend their lead.
Ross splits defenders. His pass tapped out of bounds. And Pepperdine's going to call a timeout. 21 on their shot clock, 39 to go until the break. And it's been a fun first half so far, back and forth. Pepperdine's got the edge right now. They've been dominant over the last probably 7 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, once Abilene Christian had that 8-point lead, things really changed, and it wasn't necessarily a change on the defensive side. It was just Pepperdine started sinking those shots that they were just missing earlier on. Now shooting 45%, 10 for 22. Meanwhile, ACU taking the same amount of shots, only made 6 of those. That's really been the story. Just better shooting for Pepperdine. That's given them the lead in this one.
Yeah, ACU one of its last 7 from the floor. We've seen 19 turnovers tonight. We'll see if that gets cleaned up in the second half. It started out kind of sloppy. It's kind of played out that way over this entire 20-minute span. But now Pepperdine wants to add to their lead before the break. Ross nearly lost it. Pepperdine moves so well off the basketball. Ross crossover 3. You bet. Wow.
And you can't guard that at all. There's nothing you can do against that with a step back. And he is feeling it here as we near the halftime break.
No shot clock. Abilene Christian can hold for the final shot of the half. Miller kicks it. Ricks has to launch. No good. And that takes us into halftime. Pepperdine 34, Abilene Christian 26, halftime coming up. Back at halftime at Moody Coliseum, 34-26, Pepperdine on top. Well, folks, in the spring of 2020, you're going to want to stay tuned for this documentary about how incredible a season it was ago for Abilene Christian Athletics. Both teams making the NCAA tournament in some kind of ride a season ago.
This was so much more than our team or basketball.
Coming in as freshmen and sticking through the grind, sticking through the losses.
We knew we had a team that was a conference championship level team from the start.
All season, we just wanted to prove people wrong.
I was anxious to play because we knew we were so close.
You done for the Jake Franklin gun. Franklin holds it down.
We felt the buzz in the city. They were with us.
I had never seen Moody that fast.
Yes! He's got 18. Ricks to tie it. Good look. Yes! And it's in.
And he hit it, I was like, whoa.
The ACU fans going crazy.
We are the best three-point shooting team in the league. Let's go establish a new three-point shooting record.
They're going to break the record.
Show everybody in the conference that we can go and compete.
The Wildcat live to fight another day. Kick it out. Mabry 3. Dagger. Good. Wow!
We're going to go win this championship game.
The Wildcats are going to play for a title.
Whatever we have to do, we're winning this game.
Like, okay, let's go. Like, let's go to war.
Goes in with a one-hand slam. Wide open. Corner 3. Yes! Barbed wire! They can feel it all over ACU Nation. Abilene Christian to the NCAA tournament.
It's a 34-26 Pepperdine lead. Second half moments away here in Abilene, Texas. Welcome back courtside, everybody. Zach Carlisle alongside Owen Simpson. Well, you talk about this Pepperdine team that is shooting almost 50% in the first half. They really picked it up. Abilene Christian just 26% shooting in the first half. We'll see if those shooting numbers tilt at all come second half time.
Yeah, early on it was just the same for both teams. They just couldn't find a bucket. But after a while, Pepperdine was doing a good job at passing the ball, taking that extra pass and finding the open shot. That was really helpful. But they just couldn't get the shot to fall. Later in the first half, we saw that finally starting to drain. Meanwhile, for Abilene Christian, they just haven't found any space. It's been some great defense from the Waves here.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about this Pepperdine team that got off to that slow start. Then Colby Ross got going with 11 first half points, including 3 from behind the arc.
And that was huge momentum swing because Abilene Christian had an 8-point lead, and then Ross finally kicked it into the second gear. And he's been the driving force for this team on offense. Only player in double figures for both teams as we enter the second half.
Yeah, you talk about the Edwards brothers, 9 and 6 points respectively. Abilene Christian could not get anything going. 1 of their last 8 from the floor, from the field. We'll see if that offense can get going here in the second half.
Yeah, and what they're really going to have to focus on is spreading it out. From a perimeter, there hasn't been any shots falling. 1 for 8 from three-point range, and a lot of that comes to Peyton Ricks. He's 0 for 4 in this one, 3 points, all from the charity stripe in this one. He's got to kick it in and start being that leader on offense and start getting some shots to fall.
Yeah, Ricks was shut out in the game a year ago in Malibu against Pepperdine, and they're going to need their senior leader. There's no doubt about it, because Ricks is a guy, if he gets going, he can be really, really tough to stop. So that's going to be a focus, I think, of this Pepperdine defense in the second half.
He really has. And just defensively, both these teams have done a good job. It's about offense. It's what's next. What extra step can they take? Both teams have shown physicality, taking it into the paint. A lot of fouls we saw in the first half from both teams. Now it's the second half. Let's see how this team adjusts. What kind of adjustments can we expect on the offensive side? That's what I'm going to be looking for primarily in this one.
It was a little sloppy at times, it felt like, in that first half. Pepperdine had 10 first half turnovers. Abilene Christian with 9 first half turnovers. Could points off of turnovers maybe be a big part of what happens in the second half. Both teams have to take care of the basketball.
It's been very uncharacteristic for both these teams. They've already hit that clip of average turnovers per game in one half. That's just been the story of the day so far. Some sloppy passes, maybe some great defensive effort, but sloppy nonetheless. They're going to have to fix it up in this one.
It's a 8-point game, so we'll see if Abilene Christian can make a little bit of a run as we get ready for the second half. That was an entertaining first 20 minutes. This place is hopping. They're ready to go. This is going to be a fun second 20 minutes of basketball.
It's an exciting one. Let's see how Pepperdine can hold on to this lead, really their largest lead they've had in this one. Haven't seen any double-digit leads from both these teams. It's been a back-and-forth matchup early in this one.
Pepperdine trying to make it 3 straight wins. Abilene Christian trying to rebound after a loss last Sunday in Philadelphia. The team turns around immediately and leaves tomorrow to head to Vegas to take on UNLV Monday night. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. We'll see how much fight they have in them in the final 20 minutes of play. Entertaining to say the least. This is fun. Mid-major hoops at its best. Non-conference where if you win, it really helps your RPI later on. And if you lose, hey, it doesn't really hurt you that much, because you know you're going to have to win your conference tournament anyway to make the NCAA tournament later on in March. But that feels so far away.
But you know Abilene Christian is hungry after that tough overtime loss against Drexel. Heading all the way out to Philadelphia to come out with a loss is tough for any team. They're looking to start off right here.
How about that? That's a good start. Joe Pleasant from Trey Lennox. And ACU the first points of the second half.
Good passing there, really exposing defense inside the paint. That's what they're going to be looking for here in the second half.
The Edwards brothers combined for 15 points, and this is a 3-point attempt. No good from Kessler Edwards. Fast break points were almost a non-factor, just 7 combined between the teams. And Joe Pleasant has the first 4 of the second half for Abilene Christian.
And we saw about a dozen of those shot attempts from Abilene Christian in the first half. None of those were falling, so a good start here. 2 for 2 to start.
This is Cameron Edwards, loose ball. Ricks wants to run. Those long rebounds. There's Daniels, the smallest guy on the floor, and he draws a foul.
And get this, Daniels 5'7", but he's got 5 rebounds already in the first half. And take a look back at this. Nice move and the hook shot. That is a great shot there from Pleasant and has Abilene Christian rolling on offense.
ACU 17 foul shot attempts in the first half. That one rims out. Pepperdine was 7 out of 9 the opening 20 minutes. Makes it a 3-point game. ACU with the first 4 of the second half. Correction, first 5 of the second half to make it a 3-point game. Ross trying to make a really fancy pass, didn't get there. Now Trey Lennox runs out, and it's a 1-point game. And Pepperdine has to call a timeout. What a start for ACU, a 7-0 run. And it's a 1-point game. you know, we were talking off air about head coach Joe Golding and how good his second half adjustments have been. So far, so good. They're off to a 7-0 start here.
And it's just another reoccurring theme from the last game they had against Drexel. They gave up 47 points in the first half against Drexel. Second half, that was a big change, 21 points. And it just goes to show the whole coaching staff. He credits not just himself, but the whole coaching staff, the adjustments they make at halftime.
Trying to break the full court pressures, Pepperdine. Ross, what a pass inside, and Edwards finishes. That's as good as it gets.
And that's what he's known for doing. We talked about that, averaging 9 assists a game going into this one. And that's assist number 3. Great pass there.
14 of them. Tuesday in the win. Peyton Ricks, that was a deep 3. He gets one to go for the first time from distance.
And I don't know if they were listening to us during the break, but that's what we were talking about. They've got to get it going from the three-point line. And a good 3 from Ricks.
Colton Cole looked like he poked Colby Ross in the eye. And they get Cole for the foul. Second foul of the night on the big 7-footer. Chavez has a nice jump shot. He got that going a little bit in the first half with 5 points. And he loses the ball out of bounds. Kind of an odd play. I don't know if he just lost the handle on it or if it was stripped. Nonetheless, Abilene Christian gets the takeaway. Ricks again. Boy, that one was even deeper than the first one.
I think he's testing his range. I don't know if it's the right time to do that.
Ross, he can do it too, and he's fouled on the 3. Who's the foul on? It's on Damian Daniels. And that is his second personal foul. And this is a 3-point foul shot, so 3 free throws coming for Ross. Colby Ross, a special talent for Pepperdine. Hits the first. He's got 2 more coming.
He's a good free throw shooter too. That's his 3rd free throw attempt and his 3rd make. He's carrying this team right now with 12 points.
He hasn't missed yet on the season. He still has 1 more to go. That makes him 18 of 18 here in his young campaign. I can't believe we're talking about March Madness already. I mean, that feels like it's forever away.
I know we want to fast forward there, but we've got some basketball to play first.
I think so, yeah. We're not even to Thanksgiving, though. Let's get to Thanksgiving
Let's do that. Let's do that, and then we can talk about March Madness.
Here's Pleasant. A solid start to the half, and Colton Cole with a tip and a putback for Abilene Christian.
Cole showing off his size at the 7-foot mark. Great rebound, great putback.
Lennox, good defender. They claimed that Trey Lennox is probably Abilene Christian's best defender, but Cameron Edwards, boy, he's got great handles of the basketball at 6'6".
Beautiful floater. He's now in double digits in points.
Ricks again. He is heating up 2 of his last 3 from distance.
And they're going to need him to stay in this game. Both teams starting to catch fire on offense. It's going to be an exciting finish.
Double team. The game that's evened up at 41. Ball fake, Polk Jr., he can distribute as well. Keith Smith open. His 3 offline and an undercut foul on Trey Lennox. Here's the Ricks 3.
And he is just firing at will coming out of the second half. 1 dribble, 1 shot, and that's yet another triple here for Peyton Ricks in the second half.
Aiden Howell checks back in for ACU. First time we'll see number 23 in the second half. And Mekhi Morris, the junior out of Philadelphia, he went back home last Sunday. Junior college transfer for ACU. Here's Ross, got Pleasant on him. Speed advantage for Ross, and he misses the floater, it rims out. Daniels has a ton of speed. They love him in the transition game. Daniels 10 to shoot. Extra pass. Morris had it stripped. Well defensed by Keith Smith. Wants to go one-on-one, and Smith is down on the floor, and he is in some serious pain. We're going to take a timeout on the floor. Tie game in Abilene. Well, we're back here in Abilene, Texas in a 41-41 game, and down on the floor and in some obvious pain is Keith Smith, and you never want to see that. He is in some visible pain and some audible pain, but man, that's tough. He was running down the floor in transition, and it's a knee injury with my guess is it appears to be a leg injury for Keith Smith.
And you hate to assume the worst, especially this early coming into the season. He's been a key factor on this team, a key role so far, averaging 18 minutes a game for this Pepperdine team. And again, you just hate to see it still down on the floor in obvious pain.
Yeah, they're going to wrap up his leg and try to get that looked at as soon as possible. The game feels secondary at those types of moments because you know how tough it is to see him on the floor. Well, we talked about Abilene Christian, and we talked about what they have coming up. They're leaving tomorrow to go to Vegas. They've got a game Monday at UNLV before Champion Christian comes to town. Then it's a Thanksgiving trip at Texas State and SMU, Southeast Missouri State. We mentioned it briefly in the open. It's a tough non-conference slate for these Wildcats.
Yeah, before this they had 6 days off to really just recuperate. But now it's the beginning of a tough stretch. UNLV, as you mentioned, coming up. Come back home for a little bit with Champion Christian, and then they head right back on the road at Texas State, at SMU. This is a tough November schedule.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So we mentioned they've already played Drexel and now this matchup with Pepperdine. How about the Waves? Where are they going? How about the USC Trojans on Tuesday night in Los Angeles before welcoming in Sacramento State? A good Wooden Legacy tournament in Anaheim, California, Idaho State, and then the Southlands Central Arkansas heads to Malibu. That's a fun place to be December 14th, I feel like.
I wouldn't complain being in Malibu in cold December.
It's a tough non-conference schedule for Pepperdine as well. We mentioned they've already played the Cal Bears out of the Pac-12 conference, UC Irvine of the Big West, Cal State Northridge of the Big West. They were there Tuesday night as well. They're still tending to Keith Smith down on the floor for Pepperdine, still in obvious pain, and again, you hate to see that from such a good player, the redshirt junior out of Seattle, Washington. And here's a guy who sat out last year due to NCAA transfer rules, and a guy that played 2 seasons in Oregon, a transfer from the Oregon Ducks. Played in 62 games in 2 seasons. He was a part of the team that made the run all the way to the Final Four with the Oregon Ducks a couple of years ago. And that was a wacky Final Four that year. Gonzaga and Oregon and North Carolina, all of them. 41-41. And they're going to take Keith Smith off the floor. We're going to take a timeout for an injury. Back after this. Back to action in Abilene, Texas. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Keith Smith. We hope he's all right and is able to make a recovery as he's taken off the floor for Pepperdine. And back to basketball we go, and it's an illegal screen on Joe Pleasant of Abilene Christian to get us back and started. In a 41-41 game, ACU erased an 8-point deficit like that to start the second half.
Yeah, both teams really started clicking on offense, but after that injury, I'd like to see how they respond. After taking a few minutes off, they've cooled down a little bit. Let's see how they get back into the groove of things.
Edwards and Ross, those are going to be the focal points of this Pepperdine offense, both Edwards brothers. Now a lane for a hammer, and he missed it. And it kicks out to Kessler Edwards, who hits a three, and it actually results in one more point for Pepperdine. Go figure.
That's not exactly the way you expect a dunk to go, but 3 points for Pepperdine to say the least, and they're back on top.
Does that count as an assist?
We can discuss that another time.
Ricks looking for Pleasant. He's had a big presence in the second half. And there's a tip in for Hayden Howell. ACU's been active at the rim themselves.
And the first bucket for Howell of the night, now 3 points in this matchup. Good putback and good board.
Man, we've had a lot of bump fouls, especially trying to help on screens defensively on both teams. Here's the missed dunk that resulted in a three. Go figure.
That's one way to do it right there. But Hayden Howell now has to head right back out. That's his third personal foul, and he's going to have to sit for a little bit.
Here's a guy who got into foul trouble a little bit in the opening game of the year against Arlington Baptist as well. Edwards, tough take, right-handed finish for the redshirt senior.
And that's just a mismatch right there. Cameron Edwards, 6'6", Damian Daniels, 5'7". You're going to score almost every time in that situation.
Clay Gaiman, big-time shooter, fakes and kicks. It's Ricks. Kept his foot down somehow. There's Corian Mason in the corner. That ball's tipped, just 7 to shoot for ACU. Well, you talk about the Edwards brothers. Cameron's got 13, Kessler's got 11. They each had 22 in the win Tuesday. They play like brothers. And there's a foul on one of them right there. Cameron charged with a foul on Joe Pleasant. Joe Pleasant might be huge in the second half for ACU, just the way he matches up inside.
He really might, and now that's a third foul on Edwards. Yeah. That's a big foul as well, so it may create a little bit of extra opportunity for him if Edwards picks up another one.
Clay Gaiman too strong. Boy, he was wide open underneath. Chavez tried to feed it to Edwards. Daniels runs. Damian Daniels couldn't quite finish. Ooh, Darryl Pulp Jr.'s hobbling a little bit. For Pepperdine. Ross trying to back down. He's able to do so on Damian Daniels, who thought he took a charge. No call.
And just like that, Pepperdine's back up 2 scores. And that's the momentum they needed to get back in this thing and back on top.
Gaiman to Pleasant, posts passing to one another, and there's Joe Pleasant inside, and now a whistle. Question is, does the basket count? I believe it does. Reggie Miller checks in for Abilene Christian, and that was interesting. They just made a stoppage on the floor. But the basket counts, and it's a 3-point game. Ross, short on the 3.
They're going to keep shooting that 40% from the 3-point line. That's a good shot for them, and it's held them up to their 3-point lead so far.
Pleasant travels. Interesting.
Not sure how I feel about that one. Not sure if maybe it was a carry. I don't know about a travel.
Yeah, it didn't look like. It looked like he dribbled at the proper time.
Nonetheless, that's turnover number 12 now for the Wildcats.
A lob inside. Boy, how do you stop that? Edwards goes up like a tight end.
He's 7 for 12 in this one, 15 points and 5 rebounds. He's been a nightmare for the Wildcats so far.
This Pepperdine team has a ton of talent. I think they have a ton of draft pick potential talent. Corey on Mason. Did a lot of dribbling, but he found a little bit of space to the hoop.
And a great job to put him in a good position to take it up and into the basket. And we're back to a 3-point game.
This is fun mid-major basketball. Another lob. Edwards again. This one is Kessler Edwards. You guys try to keep them straight. I know I can't.
And it's the exact same play, but by the different Edwards. They both have just been feeling it on inside. 13 points for number 15, Edwards, 20.
No way. Pete Ricks, are you kidding me? From the parking lot, makes it a 2-point game? What?
I think he was tired of me talking about Edwards and Edwards, because my goodness, what a bomb. Let's take a look at it one more time.
I mean, look at where he is standing. He's almost on the logo.
Shooters will shoot, and he does it right there. And that is triple number 3. 3 for 7 beyond the perimeter. He didn't have a single basket at the halftime break, and now he's up to 12 points in this one.
He had 3 free throws in the first half, and that was it. That is some kind of shot. All of a sudden, it's a 2-point game again. Now we're seeing back and forth in this second half. We are bound to have some kind of finish here tonight.
And it's crazy the way we started this game. The first 10 minutes, both teams were flirting around 20% field goal percentage. And boy, have they responded. Pepperdine up to 50%. The Wildcats up to 42%. Both teams showing physicality, getting to the line. ACU shooting 74, Pepperdine 83. It's been a fun game to watch. Just both teams really seeing, well, I think we've seen just both teams improve as the game has gone on. Shots have started to fall. They've protected the ball a little bit more. I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, I think so too. As much as the 3-point shooting is fun to watch, you and I agree. We've talked about this a few different times. I still think the paint and inside play is going to determine what happens the rest of the second half.
Yeah, and Joe Pleasant has been showing that. He's in double figures in points, 10 points, 4 for 7 shooting. He only has 3 rebounds, but that doesn't exactly show how hard he's been working inside.
This is a good uniform matchup too, folks. Pepperdine wearing their typical home uniforms, and then look at the old school purple for Abilene Christian. Early season hoops at its best. Edwards had a lane, and he's gonna get an and one. Had to wait on the blocker charge call, and it's an and one for Cameron Edwards.
And he did not even hesitate, took it straight inside after the pass. And I think that's a good call too. No charge on that. He has an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Clay Gaiman tried to step over, didn't get there in time. The ability to avoid any type of block, really impressive. And Edwards adds to his total. He's got an 18-point night. An 80% foul shooter as well. Reggie Miller out there for Abilene Christian. With Damian Daniels on the bench, and Ricks and Gaiman have a miscommunication. Edwards again! And Pepperdine was calling for a goaltend, and they didn't get it. And now Edwards fouls, and that is foul number 4 on big number 20, and that is huge with 10 and a half to go.
Now Pepperdine's left with the decision. They're going to have to take him out. And now this is the time for the Wildcats to take it inside the paint. They have the size. Colton Cole comes in. This is a big changing moment. Could be a big changing moment in this game.
Yeah, when the 6'6" Cameron Edwards has to leave, then you bring in your size. Ricks. He's going to launch him. He's going to get his shots up.
He's not afraid to shoot, and why wouldn't he be?
Here's another guy who's not afraid. Colby Ross. Ricks and Ross, one of those two might decide this game tonight. 5-point Pepperdine lead. This back and forth battle. Cole inside. How do you defend that?
That's what they need. They got to take it inside right now. It's going to spread out the defense on Pepperdine and let Ricks have more space to shoot from the perimeter when he needs to take it. Back to a one-score game.
Colton Cole, double figures tonight. He's got 10. Chavez on Pleasant. Ross off the switch. The ball was deflected. That may have been tipped on the shot, and here come the Wildcats. Pepperdine gets back defensively, too. That's really good transition, D. And now a foul inside on Victor Ohia Obioha. The 6'9" center out of Nigeria fouls Colton Cole. And that's the third team foul on Pepperdine. ACU with 16 fouls. Just 10 on the shot clock for Abilene Christian. Mason hesitates. Pleasant corner three. Pepperdine's got a heavy sophomore class this year. 2 seniors, 4 juniors, 7 sophomores, and 4 freshmen. And that pass taken away, Reggie Miller. A chance in transition, and he draws a foul.
And the Wildcats have really been flirting with this 3-point deficit for a while. They just haven't been able to get over the hump, but great defense has led to an opportunity to even decrease this small lead that the Waves have so far.
Yeah, if that's been the one bugaboo for Pepperdine in this ballgame, it's been the 15 turnovers. Colby Ross has 5 of them. And 2 free throws coming for the lefty, Reggie Miller. Junior out of Houston. He's a guy who wants to be a basketball coach when his playing days are over. Arion Simmons comes in, another big body for ACU, checks in for the Wildcats. So now ACU goes big with Simmons and Cole. Simmons 6'5", but he is a big-time presence underneath, the freshman out of Arkansas. Travel on Edwards at the top. Kessler Edwards. 13 points tonight. His second turnover of the game.
And turnover after turnover here for Pepperdine. Abilene Christian has all the momentum. Now they just need to score.
Ricks for the lead. Now Ross looking to answer, and this is a foul on Abilene Christian, and here's Peyton Ricks giving his team the lead.
And they just need a little bit of space for Ricks, and he sinks it. And yet another triple, number 4 in the second half for Ricks. And Abilene Christian up on top for the first time.
Darryl Polk Jr. going to the line for a 1-on-1. He's played in a lot of minutes, not a lot of scoring, but a guy they love to use in that second point guard spot. He's got 4 points tonight, looking for another. Pepperdine was going to be, they're going to be the bonus the rest of the way tonight, which could loom large. The Waves are 12 out of 14 as a unit from the foul line. And this would tie the game. And it sure does. They put 4 on one side, now spread it back out. Looks like they're trying to get it into Cole. They'll lob it to him and a foul. And that's going to send us to a timeout. Boy, these final 7 minutes and 47 seconds are going to be special. How about this tie game at 57? A special night at Abilene, Texas. And this has been some kind of game. Pepperdine, though, the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds without a field goal. It's been the turnover bug for the Waves.
Really has. They had no field goals the past 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Meanwhile, ACU starting to kick it into yet another gear. 5 of 7 on their last 7 shots. And that's put them now in a 57-57 tie.
ACU leads 20-18 in points in the paint tonight as well. Contested battle inside. It was an 8-point Pepperdine lead at halftime. Abilene Christian has worked it back to even. 5 to shoot for Corian Mason. He's in the paint, and he may have stayed in there too long. Yep, he did. 3-second call in the paint.
That's when he needed to kick it out. He was well in there. He made enough steps. He wasn't getting any room. That's when you kick it out to outside the perimeter. You have a lot of options on this Abilene Christian team. Turnover.
Abilene Christian, a team that's receiving votes in the mid-major poll. Pepperdine's been there before. They're looking to get back to that after finishing 2 games under 500 a season ago. Tough shot inside for Edwards, left short. Ricks. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. He's going to shoot 3. Skylar Chavez came over. He didn't agree with the call. And Peyton Ricks, for the second time in this game, he did it in the first half as well, he's going to have 3 foul shots.
He's been Mr. Reliable there so far. 3 for 3 on that last time to the charity stripe. And that's number 3 on Chavez for personal fouls.
There it is. Did
Yeah.
he get him on the arm?
Yeah.
Looks like he did.
That's a good call.
Peyton Ricks, preseason first team All-Southland Conference. Playing in his 84th career game. First miss at the free throw line tonight for Ricks. He's 3 out of 4. Second one good. Pleasant gets Arion Simmons. Joe Pleasant. They've needed him inside tonight as Abilene Christian. 28 minutes. The starter 10 points. Peyton Ricks goes 2 of 3. And ACU has a 2-point advantage. Both teams have played physical defense tonight. Ross lost it. Kicks it out. And the 3 is buried from Jan Zidek. He's into the game for the first time, the freshman out of the Czech Republic. And now Zidek is charged with a foul on the other end of the floor. Both teams hit a bonus the rest of the way.
And a great job kicking it out after realizing there was nowhere to go. Great form. Great job setting your feet, and he's 1 for 1 in this one.
Zidek has played a total of 6 minutes in the first 2 games combined. Hits his second 3 of the young season. He's 2 of 5. Damian Daniels returns to the game. The foul was on Zidek. That puts Colton Cole at the charity stripe for a 1-on-1. Tell you what, he's a big fella, and he's got a good stroke of the foul line. He's got 11 points tonight.
And 5 for 5. Hasn't missed one yet from the free throw line, but I might have just jinxed him. And I did.
The ultimate kibosh. Knotted up at 60. Ross thought about a three. Now an incredible reverse layup attempt. Not really sure how that was. I don't know how the geometry works on that. I mean, how in the world did he even get the ball up there?
I don't know how he was able to extend it that far, but well done by Ross. He's been leading this team 16 points, and he's been perfect from the free throw line.
I thought I was good at math when I was younger too, but that made no sense. He's got another free throw coming. It's an 18-point night for Colby Ross. Gives Pepperdine the 2-point lead once again. Mason, he takes on a defender and draws a foul on Skylar Chavez. And Chavez is about to draw his 4th personal foul. So you've got Chavez with 4, Cameron Edwards with 4.
And that's what the Waves are really doing, holding their breath for Cameron Edwards to get back in this game. The question is, how much longer will they have to wait and hold down the fort?
Corian Mason out of Douglas High School in Oklahoma City. Clay Gaiman returns to the ACU lineup. Now the Wildcats go a little smaller as Colton Cole gets a breather. Back half, no good. ACU 20 of 28 at the foul line tonight as a team. Ross step back. Left it short, now Daniels. Gaiman puts it back in, running the floor well.
And Gaiman's been pretty quiet after the explosion he had last game, but a big bucket there. And the Wildcats are back on top.
Ross again. Boy, he is special inside. And now, what do we have? Here's Gaiman's putback. They sorted out on the floor. It was after the made shot by Colby Ross. Pepperdine with a 1-point lead. And is there a technical foul of sorts?
Not sure if it was a taunting by Ross after the take. But this is a big opportunity here for the Wildcats, especially with every point counting.
So Ricks hits the free throw. And now Abilene Christian gets the basketball after tying the game. Had to have been some sort of technical foul on Ross after he made that basket for a celebration of some sort.
I think him and Gaiman got into it a little bit, and I think the referee saw and he said that enough is enough. There's been a little bit of chat.
Gaiman, boy, that's big if it goes. Quiet tonight offensively, hasn't seen a ton of minutes. 9 minutes out there on the floor. Ross again, they want the ball in his hands. Now it's Darryl Polk Jr. draws a foul on Corian Mason. But you talk about two teams that are averaging 87 and 81 points per game. Locked at 64 right now. The defenses we know both teams have good defenses, but they hadn't shown it over the last couple of days. But both of them have shown up tonight.
They really have, especially earlier on. But sooner or later, shots are going to start falling. That's what's been going on so far for both these teams. Over 40% shooting. And Pepperdine nearing 50% in this one.
There's the 2019 Southland Conference Coach of the Year, Joe Golding, telling us that he thinks this game is really important for his team. The early tests with the game at Drexel, then you have this game here against a really quality Pepperdine team before going to UNLV. He thinks this stretch he'll learn a lot about his club, a younger team from what he's had in the past. Joe Pleasant had it taken away, well defensed by Ross.
And Pleasant wasn't ready for the ball. He was looking down, trying to get good position. That forced the turnover.
Another whistle to stop the play. And it will stay with Pepperdine, and I don't know if it may have been a clock malfunction. And there is Lorenzo Romar, an outstanding coach. 409 career wins for the Hall of Famer, 60 wins at Pepperdine. We mentioned this is his second time through with the Waves. This feels like a big possession. Ross. Powerful offensive rebound by Jan Sadiq. And it's a foul on Abilene Christian's Corian Mason. And 2 free throws coming for Zedek.
That was a big rebound there from Zedek. Not a whole lot of time. We mentioned 4 minutes so far in this game, but he has made his presence known.
I wasn't sure the foul was going to be called on. I felt like we had about 3 different directions being pointed on that foul. First one no good for Zedek. But he hits the second to push the lead to 3. Who does Abilene Christian turn to on offense here? Mason rising fire.
Great defense by the Waves there, just really staying calm and composed after the good passing from Abilene Christian. And the missed shot, and Pepperdine has a chance to extend the lead to 2 possessions.
Illegal screen on Jan Zedek. Pepperdine's doing all this without Cameron Edwards. The final 3:40 when you come back. Three-point lead for Pepperdine. I think go ahead and buckle your seatbelts. We've got the final 3 minutes and 40 seconds. This is going to be some kind of finish. It's been a great game.
It seems like it's been a 3-point game or less for the past 5 or 6 minutes or so. It's been a back and forth game, a few turnovers, a few missed shots, and then a few clutch shots have just kept this game as close as it is. Phenomenal game thus far, an exciting finish I think we're in store for.
Cameron Edwards back out on the floor for Pepperdine. He's got the 4 fouls, big number 20 for the Waves. Trey Lennox, limited minutes tonight in a starting role. Daniels for the tie. This ball's tipped around and the Waves get a stop. As we approach 3 minutes, these are key possessions as Pepperdine tries to extend it to a 2-possession lead. Chavez bounces, Edwards lost it. The arrow stakes with the Waves with 12 to shoot on the shot clock.
Every possession matters, 3 minutes to go. And that could be big in the long run. A good defensive effort from the Wildcats to jump on that ball right when it was jarred loose.
It was nearly the 18th Pepperdine turnover tonight.
Abilene Christian not far behind with 15 turnovers. This has been one of those physical, grinded out games for both these teams.
Chavez, long 3, no good, but an offensive board. Right place, right time for Edwards and Polk. And all offensive rebounds go to 20 seconds on the shot clock. One of the new rules. Ross, tough shot. Colton Cole rings that one home.
Good defense there by Peyton Ricks to force the missed shot. Now an opportunity to close in on that short and slim lead.
Backdoor pass from Cole's picked off. Approaching 2 minutes to go here in Abilene, Texas, and what a fun game here in the middle of November. Ross to the hoop. That's a tough contested look. Abilene Christian still down 3. Now Daniels running. Wow, transitional layup for the little guy.
And he may be small, but boy, is he fast, and he shows it right there, and he's getting the crowd hyped up. 1-point game, what a game here.
Wow. Edwards off the window, what a take from the redshirt senior. Wow. A minute and a half. Cole, he is fouled. And he's gonna shoot 2.
A good pass inside the big man, and that is gonna be, I believe, foul number 5 for Cameron Edwards. And
there's Daniels.
Look. Just showing off his speed right there. But that is a big foul for the Waves, and they're gonna have to go without Edwards for the next minute and 22 seconds.
Yeah, Cameron Edwards, 20 points on 9 of 15 shooting. He's fouled out of the game. That brings back in Jan Zedek in this 3-point contest. That might loom large. 1:22 to go.
Colton Cole 5 for 6 of the charity stripe. Make it 6 for 7.
Coach Golding looks a little stressed, doesn't he?
I mean, just a little bit. I think I would be too.
1:22 left. We'll keep it here as ACU tries to cut this to a 1-point lead. Then you think about the other end of this floor. Pepperdine's going to have the full shot clock with either a 1 or a 2-point lead. They're going to be looking for points, but they're also going to want to use some clock, I feel like.
For sure, and they're going to want to use as much as they can, especially after getting that offensive rebound. Boxing out's going to be key. It's fundamental defense for the Wildcats going into this next possession. They've given up a total of 6 offensive rebounds in this game. Not too bad, but every rebound's going to count as these seconds count down.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Abilene Christian with 31 total boards, 10 of those offensive. Pepperdine 28 total rebounds, 6 of those offensive. Not a lot of second chance points in tonight's game, 15 total. But without Edwards inside, they're going to rely offensively and defensively a little bit here on the freshman Jan Zidek out of the Czech Republic. Number 31, here's a guy who represented the Czech Republic in the European Championships when he was 16 and 18 years old.
And the game plan for Abilene Christian, in my opinion, if I'm Coach Golding, I'm taking it inside. I'm not necessarily taking the shot inside, but that's where I'm going first. Cameron Edwards now fouled out. I think that's where you go first. If the defense bites, you kick it out to someone like Peyton Ricks, who's been feeling it from outside the perimeter in the second half.
It'll be the second free throw from Colton Cole to try to cut it to a one-point game after this timeout. So Pepperdine out of the West Coast Conference, the WCC, their first conference game will be against Pacific, January the 2nd. They'll have 2 dates with Gonzaga. That's a good conference there on that West Coast. Gonzaga, the Bulldogs, everybody knows about that team who's constantly a presence in the NCAA tournament, and Final Four team a few years as well.
Yeah, they've really owned that conference from really recent memory from what you can recall.
That's right.
They've been the driving force in that conference. But a good test here for Pepperdine as they're inch closer and closer to conference matchups.
Abilene Christian's first Southland Conference game will come December the 18th at New Orleans. 2 extra Southland Conference games this year, moving the league schedule from 18 to 20 games, which means it starts on the 2019 half of the calendar year with the basketball schedule. Colton Cole to make it a 1-point game, and he does. And here we go. They want it in Ross's hands. To the dish, high off the glass. That's a special take from a special talent.
22 points in this one, keeps it a 1-possession game, though. Wildcats still have an opportunity to keep this close on this possession.
This 1-point game, Daniels is fouled down low. Big time take right here from Moss.
And right on Peyton Ricks too, just goes right past him. And a beautiful take right off the glass.
Free throws coming once again for Damian Daniels. Chance once again to cut it. Feels like it's been a 3-point game forever.
It's been neck and neck, and Daniels 1 for 2 on his first trip to the free throw line. These are the biggest free throws of the season for him so far.
And the reason there was a stoppage there is because Skylar Chavez fouled out of the game for Pepperdine. So he takes his seat. Victor Ohia Obioha comes back in. So Daniels, 2 free throws. A sophomore out of Kansas City, and he misses the front. Pepperdine looking for a huge road win to win their 3rd straight game. Abilene Christian trying to win a big one at home. It's a 2-point game, and here's the biggest possession of the night. They're going to do this again with Ross. Let him take the clock down, under 10 on the shot clock.
And this is your go-to guy. He's led the team the whole game, and he's going to do it right here.
5 to shoot. Step back. The 3 is offline. Abilene Christian with 10 seconds. Daniels, no good. And now a foul with 5.6 seconds as Daniels trying to take it to the hoop to try to tie the game. And I think he was looking to draw a foul is what it appeared to be. And now Pepperdine goes to the line to try to push it to a 2-possession lead.
And that's not what you want to do at 5'7" and a guy coming from behind, trailing behind. I know you want to try and draw the foul, but Daniels is 1 for 6 going into that. Slow it down, he had some time. And now Pepperdine has a chance to extend to a 2-possession lead.
And somehow Jan Zitek did not foul defensively in transition defense for Pepperdine. 2 foul shots for Kessler Edwards. First one is good. And this one is the big one to try to push the lead to 4. And he does with 6 seconds left. Ricks goes quickly and launches the 3, and the Pepperdine Waves come into Abilene, Texas and get a big road win. Out of the West Coast Conference, 73-69. It's a big-time win for Pepperdine on the road.
Every possession mattered at the end, and Pepperdine responded, taking advantage of that. Ross leading the way, 22 points, phenomenal win for Pepperdine.
Fun game tonight for Owen Simpson and our entire crew. The gang headed by Hutton Harris. Zach Carlisle saying so long from Abilene, Texas. It's been a presentation of college basketball on ESPN. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. Until next time, so long, take care. Good night, everybody.